What's up, everybody? Zero back again, and today I'm gonna stray a little bit off the gameplay and talk about some of my recent experiences. If you've been following my commentaries, you'll know I got a tooth pulled and have started Invisalign and stuff like that, and I've been thinking back on my history with dentists and everything else like that, and I thought, that's a pretty interesting story. I think I'm gonna tell that. So, here it goes. One of my first memories, actually, is being at the dentist when I was 3. Something had happened to my teeth, and I don't know, they decided the best course of action would be to scrape the enamel off of basically all my canine teeth. So that's, one of my first memories. And since I was 3, and this was 1983, they didn't have anesthetic for kids, so it all had to be done without anesthesia. So I remember being taken into the back room. My parents weren't allowed back there. The dentist strapped me to the table with strapped my arms, legs down, strapped me by the chest, strapped me down around the neck, and proceeded to grind the enamel off my teeth. And I remember crying and screaming and stuff, and that didn't go over too well, so he beat the shit out of me. And I told my mom, and nothing really ever came of it, but apparently, talking to other kids I grew up with, they had kind of similar treatment at this dentist, and good news is, eventually he died in prison for doing this, so, happy ending, I guess. But that kind of scarred me for life, for dentists and everything. And so by the time I was losing my teeth and my other teeth were coming in, my teeth were kind of screwed up. One of my baby teeth actually ended up having a really long root on it and didn't come out, so the adult tooth grew in kind of behind it and sideways. So, needless to say, my teeth were really fucked up. And the dentist basically told my parents, just find an orthodontist, there's not really a choice. So, in about 4th grade, I started braces, and, if you've never had braces, it's horrible. And if you have had braces, then you know what I'm talking about. It was painful, my lips were constantly shredded, my teeth were hurting pretty bad, and I'm sure they've improved the technology since then, but it was a pretty big ordeal. And I ended up having braces from, I think it was 4th grade. Then I got them off for one summer, put them back on. It was just the top at first, and then top and bottom. And those stayed on until my junior year of high school, so about 7 years of all that. Which, that's a long time to have braces, because, so that'll give you an idea of how messed up my teeth were. Wish I could find a picture of the mold, or find the mold of before and after, because it's a pretty drastic difference. So basically after that, I was done with the dentist. I didn't ever want to go again, and basically after my senior year in high school, I hadn't gone to the dentist in almost 12 years up until recently, which I've touched on that. I remember I said my Wii was impounded by the police, and the Wii was actually what, not the remote itself, but the Wii console actually busted out a couple of my teeth, my front teeth. I had to go to the dentist for that. So I had to have those reconstructed, and amazingly, with not going to the dentist for like 12 years, I only had like 2 really tiny cavities, and got those filled, and everything was good. I guess, ultrasonic toothbrush is a really good tip. It takes care of your teeth really well, and since I had no intention of going to the dentist, I knew I had to take care of them. And actually, you can find the story of me getting my teeth knocked out all over the internet, because the police report made it to big-time blogs like Kotaku and things like that, however the hell you pronounce that. But I'm sure if you search, you can find it. I'm not going to give any specifics on it. Needless to say, the whole internet thought it was really funny. So that basically forced me into going back to the dentist, and when I did, it wasn't all that bad. The worst part basically was the shots, and kind of made me realize that all this fear I'd had for all these years and just absolute dread of going to the dentist was kind of misplaced. So when my wisdom teeth came in, after all my braces and everything, basically it just screwed my teeth all up again and crowded them, and they weren't near as bad as they used to be, but there's still room for improvement, and I was kind of self-conscious about it, but I didn't want to go to the dentist. So finally, after I went to the dentist and got kind of comfortable with it, they asked me if I was even interested in seeing an orthodontist again. I was like, oh, well, I've kind of been thinking about it, Invisalign, and they recommended the orthodontist that actually my dentist's wife goes to. So I met with them, and the whole thing seemed pretty painless, and they thought everything was going to go fine, but then they decided the easiest method would be to pull one of my front teeth, which I've touched on in an earlier commentary. So I'm walking around kind of looking like a methed out redneck at the moment here, but it's closing up pretty good, and it's not going to be too long that I look like this, so it's not bad. So if you notice me talking different in any of my newer commentaries, it's because I have Invisalign in my mouth, which is kind of like wearing a mouthpiece on my top and bottom teeth with hard plastic, and it makes it a little bit hard to talk. But other than that, I mean, the first day was pretty painful, just because my teeth had shifted since they did the molds, and it had to move them back into place, and I'm sure every time I switch the mouthpieces that it'll hurt for a little bit just while the teeth are moving, but I'm like 2 or 3 days in, and it's not too bad. So basically, it's just kind of a whole big lesson learned. The dentist is not all that bad. The worst part's just the shots. I'm definitely not a fan of needles, but it wasn't bad at all. And I ended up having actually some deep cleaning done around my gum line where they stick a little ultrasonic pick in, and the anesthetic wore off while that was going on, and it wasn't too bad. But overall, I was just blowing it all out of proportion for many years, and I think a whole lot of people do, and I've learned it's better to just get it done because it's not that bad.